Oh, damn. Well, let's see what happens. Hey, Sal, I thought you said you weren't going to be here this week. Maybe that was somebody else.
That was last week. Could have been somebody else.
Okay, well, I'm going to make you a co-host. And oh, that's the wrong person. Ah, that's my problem. There we go. There you are. I'm going to send you the link to this presentation that I'm going to be making today. It's a YouTube video. In case I get bumped off. So let me go back and do that. I will find.
You could just put it in the chat if you want.
No, I'm going to send it to you. Stop telling me what to do so early in the morning. Wait till later after I screw up. Okay. Yeah, here's the one that I want to send that I sent to Will. Will just called me and said he's not going to be signing off as soon as he thought. So SOL. Ta-da. There you are. Email sent. And I need to turn off the waiting room. There. And everybody's in who was in the waiting room. Rename myself. Oh, come on, computer.
Okay, I'm here. Can I be heard?
Good morning, Stanley.
Thank you. I've had quite a story about my Google Pixel 6 Pro tech support problem. And I don't know whether I have the patience to go through it or not, but I'm in the middle of resolving it with Google, not AT&T. But I'm finally finding tech support at Google, but it sure took a while to get hold of it. And I may drop out of this session to pursue that because I do want to pursue this either return on warranty or repair. I'm not sure, but I'm dealing with Google, not AT&T.
So Stanley, somebody just dropped out. Who was that?
I didn't see anything.
Or maybe you were signed on twice, Stan.
Anything's possible.
Let's see. Do we have? Yes, we do. Closed captions.
I'm gonna drop out and I'm gonna stay in, but I'm gonna hide well, I'll leave the camera on, I guess. But I'm gonna mute myself and mute my camera.
You're not muted, but your camera's off. Now you're muted.
Good morning, Arlene.
Good morning, all.
We have May Gray where I am.
Yeah, it's pretty gray here too. Gray and cool.
Arlene, how are you and Peter doing?
Well, we're hanging in. I'll be happier when the sun comes back.
It'll be here before you may want it to be.
I just got my reminder about the meeting today. We may be a pilgrim band this weekend.
Well, there's an expression I have not heard before. Definitely a cozy group.
What is a pilgrim brand or band?
Pilgrim Band is a small group that landed on the Mayflower on Cape Cod.
That's right.
It's the Cape Codism. The joy of having lived there and wishing I still did.
You'd rather be in Cape Cod than San Diego?
Well, we have family there, and I'm missing seeing my great-grandchildren grow up. We have no family here,
Yeah, I understand.
except you guys.
Yep, I have the same problem. They all moved away. I have one in Hawaii and one in Silicon Valley and one in South Carolina,
Uh,
and none
ours are
in San Diego. Or even,
ours are in,
No.
Denver, New Jersey, and Cape Cod.
I was born and brought up in that neck of the woods.
Ah,
New York City suburb, Concord, New Hampshire, New Haven, Connecticut,
mm-hmm.
then Newport, Rhode Island.
That's a nice place. We used to like to sail there.
Yeah, I went sailing there on my first ship in the Navy. We weren't sailing, we were steaming, but actually we weren't steaming, it was a diesel,
Oh, okay.
but it was awful duty.
Sorry about that.
We were part of the DEW line, distant early warning.
Right.
And our job was to sit out in a particular spot on the Grand Banks and Just keep our radars pointed toward Russia.
Yeah,
And man, that was rough. I seem to remember that the bridge was 76 feet above the water line, and I would stand on that bridge many a day looking up at the next wave.
oh boy. Oh boy.
Jeez.
Yeah, they have big ones out there.
It did indeed. Well, all of it, we're up from 4 to 8.
Yay, team.
9, 10. See, where are we? It's 10:31. I'll wait a little while. For everybody's information, this is a very long presentation today. It is, even though it's this long, it's only part of the thing that we're actually going to play. We're not going to play the first hour of this, which is on a Chromebooks. And the second half is on Snapseed, the subject of today's presentation. And the actual presentation about Snapseed is about an hour long. And then there's another 40 minutes of questions. So
I may not make it through all the questions.
Yeah.
It'll get to be lunchtime.
that's why I thought I would let you know, because I'm sure you will be able to see the timer, and I don't want you to give up in desperation at the beginning, because the timer will say there's an hour and 40 minutes left.
But perhaps we can not listen to their questions and have some of our own.
Well,
And maybe you could play it at a little faster speed.
Then we have trouble understanding it.
You don't know. You don't know who's presenting. Maybe they're a slow talker.
Mm.
could be. Where's all our participants? We're only up to 10.
Holiday weekend.
And editing their photos on their phone, huh?
Well, I think we should just give it a couple more minutes and then go ahead.
I will. I usually wait till 10:35. And it's
Yeah.
10:33.
There we go, a couple of minutes. Okay.
Yeah, it seems Patricia is having an issue. Oh, she finally got in.
Yeah,
There you go.
there she is. Muted.
So how is everyone? I haven't been here in a while. Missed you all.
We missed you too.
Huh.
Pat.
I'm hoping Fran can make it after the wedding and all. But we'll see. I have some questions, but it can wait till the Q&A unless you don't have anything to do.
Well, the Q&A is going to be over an hour from now, because this is a long presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
What's your question, rather quickly?
Well, it might be a prolonged answer. It might be quick, but it might be prolonged. I had some issues right before I couldn't get here on Saturday, of course. My computer just would not go to sleep. It would just keep popping back up with the, I guess you could say, the login screen. Yeah, it would never go down. I'd have to shut my computer off in order for it to go away. So we kind of solved it. I had called Apple a couple of times and we got it solved. Well, we didn't really solve it. We just did a bunch of stuff and somehow it's now working. So nobody really knows what
What
the
to do.
cause was. So I was just wondering if anybody had a similar issue and what they did or what they found out.
Wave your hand if you have an answer. Nope. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead with the presentation, Pat.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm muting everyone. And then I will share my screen. Whoops. There we go. Share my screen. And as you can see, we are starting at a little over an hour into this 2.5 hour presentation.
Bill's presentations until Q&A time after Chris and Jim's presentation. So over to you, over to them.
I had to stop Bill's presentation. I don't really think that Chris and Jim need much introduction. You can't be in one of our computer groups for APCUG without having had some contact with the geeks on tour. So I'm just going to turn it over to them because they've been with us many times. So Chris and Jim, it's your show now.
It's good to see everyone and welcome and thank you for showing up.
Thanks for inviting us to do this. One of my favorite topics, photo editing in general and Snapseed in particular.
This will just take a second to get set up.
And we asked in the chat before, but it looks like we have maybe a few more Android users in this group. We are usually speaking to an audience of almost 50-50 of iPhone versus Android. So I have both. I will demonstrate both. But good to know that it looks like maybe there's a few more Androids here.
Yeah, should be fun. All right, so let's get our slideshow up. Editing photos with Snapseed.
Take your photos from so-so to stunning with the free Snapseed app. Snapseed is by Google and it is free. You can install it.
Bill alluded to this in his presentation earlier, and we think it is the best.
Some people call it the Photoshop for your mobile devices.
And we are Geeks on Tour, also known as propeller heads. And oh, here it yeah. We do this so we don't take our seriously.
Hank, I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not hearing anything either.
Me either.
Hank, are you hearing us?
He looks like he's asleep.
I think he's too busy trying to get rid of the boxes. Hank, not if you're working on getting the sound back for us.
I just put it in the chat too, so in case he can't hear, he can maybe see.
Good idea.
Well, I guess we're like silent movies.
Unless you're good at lip reading here.
No, we need the title cards.
Or the closed captioning, of course.
Yeah, I was thinking that, closed captioning.
And use. So you do need to install it. It is a separate app. It's free from either the App Store on Apple or the Play Store on Google, and it is called Snapseed. I have no idea where that name came from.
I don't
You know,
either.
I've been meaning to research that. What is Snapseed? I don't know. Maybe the photo that you snapped is just the seed of the photo that you can make when you know how to edit it correctly.
Yeah, maybe.
So one of the first things, after you install it, you should check the settings and make sure that it is not resizing your images. You don't want editing to lose you quality. So let's do it. Snapseed is by Google. It means it works in conjunction with Google Photos, but for the most part today, I'm going to use it as a standalone app. So even if you don't use Google Photos, you will be learning how to do things from me today. So using Snapseed standalone, and I'm going to start off by using my iPad because it's a nice big screen for working with. So here is my iPad, and notice this icon, this flowery multicolored icon, that is the photo app that comes with your iOS device, your iPhone or your iPad. I don't use that much. I use Google Photos. That's this pinwheel looking thing. But then there's Snapseed. That is the green leaf icon, and you get it from your app store. So I'm going to show you a couple things. Make sure I'm...
Yeah, that going to sleep too
Oh
soon.
dear. So I'm going to open up Snapseed. And then it just tells you to tap anywhere to open a photo. But that photo must be on this device. So I made sure to put the photos I want on this device. And it's in albums. And I'm just going to show you the simplest thing that you can do with Snapseed, and it's called looks. So here is a photo that I love this photo. It's Jim walking on the beach, but it's so dark. I opened the Snapseed app. I opened this photo, and the first thing I get all along the side here is called looks. And here is a look called morning. One tap. Is that a nicer photo or what? One tap. It's kind of like a filter. Other apps call them filters. Snapseed calls them looks, and I'll explain why in a minute. If you like the look, you tap the check mark. If you don't like it, you cancel it with the X. I like it. I tap the check mark. Now I want to save it, and that's this bottom button. But let me explain why do we just have these little icons? You might not know what the icons mean. Well, watch this. If I'm working with the Snapseed in a vertical orientation, I see 3 words: looks, tools, and export. So those are the same things in the horizontal version. This top one is looks, the pencil is tools, and the up arrow is export. So if I want to save it, I tap export, and then you have a couple options. I think that the true export is the best. It creates a new separate photo. All right. So let's do that one more time with a different photo. I tap Snapseed, and now it remembers the photo that was there before, but there's an open in the upper left-hand corner. Open. And I choose another photo, open from device, albums and recent, and oops, open, from device, albums and recents, and I will pick this photo of the Navy Pier in Chicago. And it's kind of dark. I can tap on the looks button, which is this top one, choose that morning, and that looks a lot brighter and livelier. I can say, yes, I like that, and then export and export. So that's the very, very basics of how Snapseed works. You open Snapseed, you bring in a photo, you can use the easiest thing, which is just the looks, and then save it. But what else? Go back to the slides. So that was using Snapseed in a standalone, and notice if you are using your device in horizontal mode, you see looks, tools, and export, or no, in vertical mode at the bottom, you see looks, tools, and export, or the other way around, you see the little icons that still stands for looks, tools, and export. Okay, now let's do some more. When you're done, you need to save your edits. And as I said, there's a couple different ways to save. If you're going to use this a lot, you might get used to using the save or save a copy, which when you bring it back up, makes your edits re-editable. But I like to make absolutely sure that my edits are readable by any app, so I use the export option when I save an edited photo. And that's what we just did. We demoed using looks, we opened Snapseed, we tapped plus to open a photo, we chose a look, tapped check mark to accept it, and then we saved with export. But there's so much more. Look at all these tools. 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, there's 30 different tools that you can use with Snapseed. There's no way I can show you all of them. I've never even used all of them, but I do want to show at least 6, say. We're going to do tune image, details, perspective, brush, healing, HDR Scape, and then if we have time, we will do a portrait and head pose. And then I want you to understand what using the stack means, what the stack is. So understanding stacks. If you have used Photoshop, you might be familiar with a concept called layers. Stacks is the term that Snapseed uses for that. And you can change anything in the stack. Now, even though we only applied one look so far, each look actually applies several different tools. So I want to show you the stack for the pictures that we've already done. So back to my iPad, I'm going to open Snapseed, and with this photo, all I did was apply the morning look. But if I tap on this little button up here, represents stacks or layers. If I tap that and then tap View Edits, in the lower right-hand corner now, you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. So that morning effect applied white balance, details, curves, and tune image. And if I decided, oh, I don't want to change the white balance, I can tap on white balance and then the trash can. And then the back arrow to say, okay, I'm done. Huh. That white balance was apparently a very important part of that look because it looks bad again. All right, so that's just for you to understand what stacks means. It's the different edits that have been applied to a picture. Back to slides. So now I'm just going to go through a bunch of pictures and do the things that I think make them look better. First one is Hdr Scape. If we have any, what I call real photographers in the audience, you might know about HDR. If you use an SLR camera to do HDR, HDR stands for high dynamic range. And what you do is you take at least three exposures, an underexposed, a normal, and an overexposed. Then there are lots of software that put those three together to make an HDR, and they are extremely rich, almost three-dimensional. Whenever you see a professional photographer's photo that you just go, wow, odds are they used HDR. With Snapseed, you can take any regular photo and apply an HDR feature. So back here, and I saw one camera. This is an iPad. This is an iPad mini that I'm using here. Can you see, my hand with it to give you an idea of the size. So yes, it's nice to use the iPad because it's a little bit bigger than a phone. I go into Snapseed and I want to open a new photo. And let me find one. So I am going to open a photo that we took down in Miami. We were visiting friends on a boat in Miami. And I thought this sunset was just such a beautiful view. Look at those palm trees. But it's dark. And I don't want to you could lighten it, but watch this. I'm going to go to Tools and HDR Scape. So it's going to do the equivalent of those three exposures put together. HDR Scape, boom, you now see the boats that you didn't even see before. And if I want even more, The way Snapseed works is you just rub to the right to get more. So I'm just going to rub my finger over to the right. You should see that the boats get even brighter. If I rub to the left, you'll really understand the difference. If I rub all the way to the left, it's back to just not seeing anything. So you can just rub your finger left or right to get the amount of the feature that you like. I like that. I tap the check mark. I export and export. And that is HDR. One more example of that. I'm going to open another photo. Open from device and albums. And hopefully I can find this photo of some of the old cars in Havana, Cuba. So this, we visited Cuba, and I just took this picture down a residential street of these cars. And, you know, it's nice, but watch this. I'm going to edit, or tools, HDR, and that's much better already, but I'm going to rub over to the right. I'm going to accept that with the check mark, and then I also want to crop it. Snapseed also has all the basic editing tools that every photo editor has. So here's the crop, and I'm just going to get closer to those cars and check mark. And yes, I like that. Now, I want to see what my original looked like. I can just long press. There's my original. When I let go, I see my edited. I hope you agree. The edited is a better picture. Okay. That was still HDR. Let's go to another one. So, okay, I'm going to open another photo. Open from device, albums, recents, and this one of the Gateway Arch. If you've ever been to St. Louis, Missouri, we snapped this picture as we were crossing the Mississippi River. Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Missouri down there?
Mississippi.
Okay. And that is the Gateway Arch. Cool shot, I think, but kind of dull. I could do an HDR on it, but there's another one up here under Tune Image. The very first option in the tools of Snapseed is called Tune Image. Now here, you have to know a little bit more about Snapseed. In order to see your options, you can rub your finger up and down. There are several options in the Tune Image. So I especially like this one called Ambiance. It's kind of a kinder, gentler HDR. Sometimes that HDR feature can be too much. Go to Tune Image, choose Ambiance, now rub to the right, and see how you can see more detail in the trees. You get more blue in the sky, but without any harsh effects. Maybe this could be brightened a little too. I'll rub my finger up and down, and I see that one of the image tuning options is brightness. Let's rub to the right to make it a little bit brighter. Okay, I like that. And I think that's enough for Tune Image. I'll check mark. I'm going to use another tool. Tap on Tools and the second tool. And I think there's a reason why this is the first and the second tool, is because they are the first and the second tools you should learn and use in Snapseed. details. Rub up and down to see your choices. You have structure and sharpening. Structure is kind of a 3D sharpening, if you will, and I really like it. I'm going to choose structure, and then I'm going to rub to the right. And see what it does? It just, it gives it a depth and a three-dimensional quality and a sharpness. I like it. I tap the check mark. Now I want to compare that. See, is this a better picture than what I started from? Long press. There's my original. It looks awfully dull now compared to the edited version. Original, edited version. Okay. Another tool that can come in handy is perspective. And for that, we have a pre-recorded segment, one of our tutorial videos called Perspective, and it's video number 599. It's just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
599, and all of our tutorial videos are available on our website. There's 700 and some odd of them now. This is 599. Can you use Snapseed on video too? No, it's just for photos. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and this Show Me video is about using Snapseed and the perspective. Perspective. So this is a skyline of New York City, and notice how the buildings are kind of crooked on the edge. So open in Snapseed. And first, I'm going to do morning, so that's better. And then I'm going to go into Tools and Perspective. And all you do is rub your finger up or down, and it will change the angle of those buildings. And notice it even filled in. Did you see? That's how it was sideways. When I got the building straight, it left kind of a hole over here, and it filled in that hole with stuff that looked like buildings. All right. You can also do that with old photos. If you've ever just snapped pictures of old photos, I'll bet you get some where they're not square. Open in Snapseed. And Tools, Perspective, and just rub down until it gets square. You probably also want to crop this one. And then change the white balance. Now that was Tools and white balance. And neutral color. So if I just tell it what's supposed, look how it automatically got rid of that yellow. Just by telling it what is a neutral color, it gives it live. Okay, so that's a much better old picture. And save. I see one other question, and we will deal with this. When you export a photo in Snapseed, where is it saved? It's saved on your device in a folder, a device folder called Snapseed, a device folder on Android. iPhones don't have device folders, so it's just saved in your camera roll in an album called Snapseed. So it's saved on your device. And then, as I do, I use Google Photos. I have Google Photos watching that place on my device and automatically uploading it to my Google Photos. So everything I do in Snapseed is also stored in my Google Photos account. All right, next. I'm ready for the brush tool. No, not that yet. Yeah, how are we doing? Okay. I'm going to do the brush tool, and then I will go to the Chromebook. So actually, so for the brush tool, I think I will use my Android phone, just so you can see. You folks will have the Android phone, can do everything that I just did. This is, there is Snapseed on the Android phone. You have to install it, get it from the Play Store. It's free. Snapseed, and open, and find a photo that you want to edit. Here's one of our sweet little camper van motorhome that we do a lot of traveling in now. And let's say that I want to just make it look better. I am going to use a tool under Tune Image, rub up and down to see my choices. I really like this ambiance. Now I rub right and left. Can you see the difference there? There, that's no ambiance. It looks awfully dark and dull. Swipe to the right, and it's just livened everything up. I check mark, and I could export. I'm not gonna bother. Now another photo that I want to use a brush tool on. Now for that, I'm going to have to go to my Google Photos. And I'll show you how Google Photos can open it in Snapseed. So I go to Google Photos because I'm looking for a photo that isn't on my device. It's from a few years ago. But my Google Photos has my entire lifetime of photos. And it was in New Zealand. So I am going to search and go to my maps to find a photo from New Zealand. And I know pretty much where it was. It was near Akaroa, so I can tap there. And I can see all the photos that we took in Akaroa, New Zealand, using Google Photos. Here's the photo that I really like. This was our lunch, but you can hardly see it. I could do some fixing in Google Photos editing, but I'm here to show you Snapseed. So I tap Edit, and then I scroll over until More. On the More menu, there's Snapseed. Now what I need is, the water is pretty okay, but the lunch is so dark. So instead of applying an edit to the whole picture, I just want to brush on. So I tap Tools and Brush. And now I want to increase the exposure of the bottom part of this picture. I tap on Exposure, and it's set to 0.7. That's pretty good. Now I just rub. Ooh, look at that. Our lunch looks so much more appetizing now. If I want it even brighter, I can tap on this up arrow. Higher is always lighter. And I can rub it some more. It's so much fun. It's kind of like finger painting. And if I like it, I tap the check mark. And then in the Android, because I started from Google Photos, it already knows what photo this is, what edits I've applied. All I have to do is tap Done, and I'm back to Google Photos and my original photo, but know that the saved edited photo is in this folder. You can go to folder, the Snapseed folder. So that's if you use Google Photos, but you don't have to. You can use Snapseed as a standalone app. And now I do want, just to explain that further, we do have a pre-recorded video number 699. And then I'll go to the Chromebook.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
something didn't work. That never happens, right? And hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and I want to show you how I use the Snapseed app to improve my photos. I'm starting in Google Photos, and this is an Android. I'll do it on an iPhone in a minute. This is the picture I want to edit. I tap the edit button in Google Photos, then swipe over on the horizontal menu until I see more. Snapseed, if it's installed on your phone, should appear there. Now I'm in Snapseed and I want to choose a tool, Tools. And the tool I always start with is Tune Image, the first one. Once you're in the tool, you swipe up and down on the photo to choose the specific option. In my case, I'm going to use Ambiance. Once you've chosen Ambiance, then you rub left or right to increase or decrease the amount of that option. Notice when I rub over to the right, the photo gets richer. You get more detail in the shadows and a darker blue sky. I like that a lot. And I tap the check mark to say I'm done with that. One other thing I want to do with this picture is take out that extra car back there. See, I want it to look like we were the only ones there. That's Tools and Healing. Now I get it so that I see that truck and I just rub my finger on it. And it's gone. Check mark. And I am done editing this photo. I tap done. And I am back to Google Photos. I can view my results here. Now I'm going to do the same thing using an iPhone. Snapseed works the same, but getting to it and back from Google Photos is slightly different. So here I am in Google Photos. Here is the picture, the original picture that I want to edit. You swipe up and tap Open in Snapseed. Once here, I tap Tools, Tune Image, swipe on the photo until I choose Ambiance, then swipe right to increase the amount of ambiance. It's I think a fairly subtle difference, but just beautiful. You can look at the difference between your original and what you have now with this button in the top right. There's my original. There it is with the ambiance. I like it. I tap the check mark. I want to get rid of that truck. I tap Tools and Healing. Zoom in a little bit. Touch on the truck. And I don't like how that worked, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There. Check mark. And there is no done. In the iPhone, you have to tap Export and then Save. And then you have to manually go back to Google Photos. It might take a minute before the photo from Snapseed shows up in your Google Photos, but then it will be next to your original on iPhone anyway. It'll have a new date for today in Android. And that is how easy it is to make your pictures more beautiful using Snapseed. Give it a try.
All right.
I don't know, it's hard to express how fun it is to use Snapseed, especially when you're traveling and capturing just really cool photos. I see a cool photo, I snap a picture, and then I say, oh, I want to make that better. and Snapseed makes it so easy.
Yep.
All right, there's a couple more slides, and then I'll demo on the Chromebook.
Okay.
So a round trip from Google Photos to Snapseed and back. On the Android, you open the photo and tap on Edit, scroll over to More, and as long as the Snapseed app is installed on your Android device, you should see Snapseed there. You do your editing and you just tap Done. So easy. On iOS, you open the photo in Google Photos and you swipe up, and you should see Open in Snapseed there. When you're done, you tap Export. And this is not available. There just is no such thing as Snapseed for Windows or Mac. However, there is for Chromebook. And why? Because your Chromebook can run Android apps. You need to open the Play Store on your Chromebook and install the Snapseed app.
This doesn't work on all Chromebooks, but all newer Chromebooks, right?
Yeah, I think it would be hard to find a Chromebook these days that doesn't have Play Store, but it is something to check and make
Right,
sure.
and if you've been on Chromebooks for a while, you may have an older Chromebook that does not use the Android Play Store. You just have to check.
That's true. So the key is your Chromebook must be able to run Play Store Android apps, Google Play Android apps. You also, to do it from Google Photos, need the Google Photos Android apps. So Chromebook using Snapseed from Google Photos, you must install the Google Photos Android app, then and the Snapseed Android app. Then you can open Google Photos. You have access to your lifetime of photos. You can open them in Snapseed, do your edits, and save. And that's what I'm going to demo now. So this is my Chromebook. I'm just at the, what do you call that? The home page. And I open, well, here. You can click on the launcher and find all the apps that are installed on your Chromebook. And here is Google Photos. Oops, I was already in. Okay. So here is my Google Photos, my entire lifetime of photos. I can scroll through and you can see I can go back to September 1955 because I scanned old photos and changed the dates. But I'm just going to stick with current ones. This is a picture of our camper van at a beautiful Florida State Park. But this picture isn't as beautiful as it should be. I can click on Edit. So this is the Google Photos Edit command. And I could do some edits right in Google Photos, but I'm going to go straight to Snapseed. How? This is checking if you're listening. How do I get to Snapseed from Google Photos on the Android app? I clicked on Edit. Now I find More, all the way at the right side, More. If Snapseed is installed on your Chromebook, you can click on Snapseed. And notice that I'm using a mouse. You know, because this is a Chromebook, I have this full-size screen. So here you're seeing me with the actual screen. I can still use the touch screen capabilities, but I can also use the mouse if I want. So I'm going to click on Tools. I'm going to tap on Tools and then Tune Image. Now I can still rub up and down to get my options and choose ambiance. I don't see any difference. What do I do to apply more ambiance? I'm going to rub the screen. So if I rub to the right, I'm getting more. Do you see that difference? It's subtle, but beautiful. I get more color. I get more detail in the shadows. That's ambiance. If I want to see what my original looked like, long press. Well, or if you're still in process, I haven't saved this yet, then this little button in the upper right shows me my original, let go, and it shows me the edits. I like it, I tap the check mark. And how are we doing on time? Oh, okay. So I know what, and all I have to do, since this is the Android app, I don't have to know how to save it. It's going to do, it's going to pick the one that it thinks is best when I just tap done. I tap done, I'm back to Google Photos, and I don't see the edited photo there. I only see my original. Why is that? It has, the edited version has been saved to a folder on device called Snapseed. I would have to make sure that that folder has Google Photos backup and sync turn on. So here on device, if I click on device, I will see the Snapseed folder, and I need to turn on the backup and sync in order for that photo to be included in my Google Photos. But from now on, anything I do in Snapseed will be included, and there it is. All right, now I'm going to show you another cool tool in Snapseed called healing. See the scratch on his face? There's nothing in Google Photos that I can do about that. Snapseed, I can. So I click Edit, and then More, and then Snapseed. And I'm getting this photo from my Google Photos library to Snapseed. I can click on Tools, the little pencil, and this one is called Healing. It has an icon of two Band-Aids, and I always seem to lose it. There it is, Healing. Healing, the two Band-Aids. And now notice that my mouse has a circle around it. So I think I want to zoom in a little bit, so I'm only getting the scratch. And I'll do that with my two fingers on the screen, and spread them so that the scratch is just the size that I want. And now I can just touch the scratch. Is that cool?
That's way cool.
It makes me feel so powerful. I can just touch and heal. The scratch is gone. And I like it. I click the check mark and I click done. And it tells me that the new photo has been added to the Snapseed folder, and in a minute it will be included in my Google Photos. There, didn't take long at all. The original with the scratch is still there. The edited one without the scratch is right next to it. Let's just do one more. Here is the pumpkin patch. I think this is a cool picture, but there's this nasty piece of garbage in there. Edit, and More, and Snapseed, and I'll try, and Tools, Healing, and just click the piece of garbage. And it's gone. Check mark. Done. And we are back to Google Photos. And we still have the original and we have the fixed version. All right. And I think, I mean, I have so much more, but you can see it all on our website. We have a whole Snapseed course, but let's do one little recorded one. I do want to do, just because it's too much fun, the number 600. Number 600 shows a completely different feature of Snapseed that, as I say, is just so much fun.
That's what it was. It's not downloaded.
Oh.
It takes a minute to download.
Schooled with Geeks on Tour, and this Show Me video is about how to improve faces using Snapseed's Portrait Tool and Face Pose Tool. The last one, just because this is fun. Everybody always asks, can you get rid of the wrinkles? And yes, there is a feature. You can also brighten up the eyes, move the chin up, and put a smile on their face. So this is a picture of my mom, and use the tool called Portrait. And it automatically applied a face spotlight at 70%. So her face is brighter than the rest, and her skin has been smoothed a little bit. But let me show you more in detail. Skin smoothing. It says, so I have face spotlight, skin smoothing, and eye clarity. Skin smoothing, and I rub to the right. And can you see how there are no wrinkles now? I rub to the left, the wrinkles are back. I rub to the right, and it's like it's been airbrushed. Let me show you the eye clarity. So watch your eyes as I rub to the right. I rub to, oops. Now that, I was showing you what there's the original picture. And there, now I did a little bit too much eye clarity, I think. Original picture after improvement. I'll accept that. Then the last tool is, and just because it's too much fun, head pose. And watch it. So her chin, notice how her chin is kind of down. I think she should be looking more up. All I have to do is rub my finger up. There you go. And she has actually a pretty nice, actually kind of a Mona Lisa smile, but just watch what it does. If I go down here to the adjustments and choose smile and rub to the right. Okay, good. On that note. Okay, I'm done. And we have just a few questions for you, and then we'll open it up.
We told you about the test we were going to have afterwards, right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, if you want to answer, go ahead and unmute and shout it out.
Well, to increase.
Okay, I have turned off the presentation where it was, where they were going to answer the questions that have been posted. I will put this entire presentation, all 2 hours and 40 minutes of it. I'll put a link on our website under today's schedule. But I kind of thought that some people thought maybe we should just skip their questions and go to ours, although there's nobody here to answer those questions. What's your pleasure? Wait a minute, I need to unmute. Let's see, how do I unmute people?
You don't, but they can unmute themselves, Hank.
Okay.
David has his hand up.
Yes, David.
Yeah, I was interested in the fact that they were saying, okay, you could do this on your Android tablet, but you can also do it on your Chromebook. Does anyone have a experience of using a Chromebook and using Android type apps on that? Does that work well? Is it a lot better than having it on a tablet where you don't have a mouse and a keyboard? No takers on that one?
No Chromebookers, I gather.
Arlene?
Arlene.
I have an older Chromebook and I have a Mahjong app that works very well. I enjoy playing the game on the Chromebook more than the iPad or the phone because it's a bigger screen.
Is it a touchscreen or do you use a mouse and a keyboard?
I use a mouse.
Okay, because
Mine is old enough, it doesn't have a touch screen.
Okay, well, yeah, because I'm so used to being able to do things with a mouse and a keyboard. It feels very natural. And then when I go to my, my phone, I can swirl around, but a tablet, I almost feel like I really want to have a mouse and keyboard. And I'm thinking that, maybe I should try a Chromebook, but then I don't need more devices in my life, so.
Patricia.
Yeah, I have a Snapseed question, actually. She didn't talk about this except maybe on the portrait, you could kind of do this. But how would you get like people who have, their teeth is not as bright as white as they could be? I don't, like the scar thing is erasing it. You don't want to erase the teeth. You just want to change the color, but just on the teeth. I know they used to do that on the Photoshop thing, but I gave that up years ago. So is there, is part of that Snapseed thing, you think that might do it there somewhere under portrait or whatever, or healing or?
I'm pretty sure there is a way of doing that, just looking at the stuff. If I look under tools, that brush tool that she talked about.
Right.
That brush tool, if you expand it up so you could see the teeth, you could lighten or darken just the area of the teeth with the brush tool. It's very much like the dodge and burn type of stuff you might have done with old photo editing in Photoshop or something. Depending on, and you may be able to change the size of the brush so it's fairly small and you could just hit the teeth. Because the problem with some of the brushes is they're pretty wide and they sort of smear over things.
Okay, so decrease that. Okay, worth a shot. So, okay, the other question had to do with we just found out about you can. I guess there's an app where you can go in and it can get rid of all your duplicate photos. So if you save the original, just in case kind of thing, and then you had the other one that you've edited, and then it's, the app's supposed to go in and get rid of all the duplicates. Do you think it would get rid of the edited one as well, or one of the two, or keep both?
I wouldn't think it would get rid of the edited one because it is not a duplicate of the original. You've edited it.
Right. Okay. So it's not a total duplicate. Okay. Sounds good. Hope you're right.
What it sort of implied to me was that your edited version will always be there and your original version will always be there right after the other. I see Saul nodding his head.
Yeah, that's what I kind of
meant that to him and Barbara too.
Okay.
You think you're not at risk of having the system dump the originals or the new one.
Oh, okay, good. Wanted to be sure.
Can it tell just from the file name? which is the original and which is edited?
I don't know.
I don't know of any file system that would store two different files with the same file name in the same folder.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what, it'll,
If it's looking for actual,
anything where you've duplicated it and then changed it a little bit, it's going to give it a new file name. If the new file name is just same file name parenthesis 1 or -1.
yeah, or
That's what my computer does all the time.
or edited or something. I
Yeah.
think if it's something that's actually looking for duplicate content, it would actually look for a file of the same type, of the same size, and then compare the content. If the content's entirely the same, then you have a duplicate.
General conclusion, not a problem.
Yep, sounds like it. Thank you.
With the usual caveat, your mileage may vary.
YMMV in today's lexicon. Okay, I think we're,
What does that mean?
what does what mean? Okay,
YMMB? Did I get that
your
wrong?
mileage may vary.
Oh, okay.
See these
Oh, it's a V like.
abbreviations,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, you got to get the right letters first.
yeah, like WTF.
Or more politely, LOL.
It's like the,
Yeah.
Well, that could go anyway. There's a couple ways for that one.
I understand, but it's not the same as
It's what I-
WTF.
But I like MYOB as
it's what
my.
I call,
I like
I
RMAF.
call TL.
Oh, what's that? RM.
Read the fine manual.
Oh dear.
That doesn't have a nice roll to it, though. You know, MYOB's got a roll to it.
Well, you have to-
LOL is,
you have to realize that these are all TLAs, 3-letter
That's right.
acronyms.
3-letter acronyms, right?
Really, when have you last purchased an item and it actually came with a manual? How long ago has that been?
Oh, actually, I just got one. See, if you're a senior citizen, you can somehow get these things with your senior citizen devices.
I got one with electric toothbrush. I gotta admit, but I guess only old people use the electric toothbrush.
I just got a new cell phone and a Galaxy cell phone. It didn't come with a manual, so I looked up the manual. It comes at 132 pages
As a PDF.
as a PDF.
So you only have to print it out. That's not bad.
I'm
Or
not going
read
to
it.
print out. I'm not going to print out 132 pages.
Yeah. And don't worry, it's a pretty darn fine manual.
Yeah.
PDF.
No, no.
I'm still trying to install a mesh system in my house and haven't succeeded yet, but I'm working on it.
Go cable.
Well, I wish I could, but
You can,
well,
just don't want to.
Well, AT&T Uverse is pretty good, but you know, if that mesh system works out, let me know, because right now I've got an LTE extender I'm supposed to be installing, but so far it hasn't worked. Oh, by the way, it was free from Verizon, but then they charge you $270, and then they go back, and the maximum they'll give you back at this point in time, I have to call them again, is $200. And you get $60 at a time. So if Verizon ever offers you free anything, my advice, don't take it.
check the fine print.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the fine print. This is what they told me over the phone. Oh, such a good deal, you know?
Get it in writing.
Yeah.
All right, it's I think it's time for general Q&A if we have some Qs.
Well, actually, I had an issue right before I couldn't make it to the Saturday meetings. And I called Apple several times and they finally got it resolved about a couple of days ago. But what would happen is I normally put my computer to sleep about 8 o'clock and the thing would keep popping back up. I mean, everything was up. And then what would happen is that it sort of got worse, because then what would happen is I would put it to sleep and it would be asleep for like 2 seconds. And then my login screen would pop up. My screensaver never worked. And we finally got it all straightened out, but I was wondering if anybody else had that problem.
Were you trying to make it hibernate? Well, I guess you don't say the same thing if it's not Windows.
Yeah, basically it was, sleeping, hibernate. I think that's the same thing. It's supposed to save on energy and whatever.
So what did they do to fix it, Pat?
We spent hours, and I don't really know what they really did, but it went up
Only
to
when you're
the
done,
level.
period.
So I'm not sure what they did, but it appears to be working. I picked a new screensaver and it actually worked, but I don't think it was the old screensaver. I just wanted a new one. So I don't know what the deal was. I was wondering if anybody else had that problem. It was on a Mac, of course.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons why those types of things happen and processes to go through to correct them. I don't think it's worth going through all those details here, but they have to do with the power control circuitry in the unit and a few other things that you go through. Just stuff gets corrupt over time and you just have to clear it out.
Oh, what they really wanted to do, and I didn't do this, was, we did a total backup, which took like hours, that I didn't really want them to do the backup then, but but they wanted to reinstall the whole system.
Yeah, that would not be my choice. I'm saying there's simple procedures to reset the power control circuitry that is used when you're trying to put it to sleep. And sometimes it gets a little amnesia, shall we say. And again, there's a simple procedure to go through and fix it.
Okay, it's simple.
For most people.
And
Yeah,
sometimes
may vary.
sometimes those things that happen are dependent on the system you have set up under power. If you, on a Windows computer, if you go to power, some of the options are how long does my computer keep doing what it's doing if I don't move my mouse for X number of minutes or hours or whatever, and how long until it blanks the screen, how long until it puts it to sleep, and how long before it just completely shuts it down. And if those things got screwed up, or the equivalent of those things in a Mac, I'm sure there's the same kind of hierarchy of what do I do? What does the thing do if? I'm sure there's that kind of a hierarchy in a Mac.
And I think there's also in various things, wake on internet activity or wake on other event type of things that if they're set improperly, you're just, it detects something and starts to wake up.
Yeah, wake on annoyance, or wake on.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll wake as soon as I think you're asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dan's got his hand up. Dan's got his hand up.
Yes, Dan.
Yes, some of those things are in the BIOS. And I was having a problem some years ago where my machine would turn on at night. And what it was is the BIOS said, turn on interrupt. And if somebody hit the internet, scanned my machine, it would turn it on. So you have to be careful on some of those settings.
Right. So, I think we wound up going to the default settings. So, but we did, the display, we made it 15 minutes. And that basically is whatever is on your screen, if I got that right. I mean, it's like what I'm looking at now is actually the display. So it won't go away for like 15 minutes as long as and then after that I'd have to move my mouse. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like Hank was describing on the Mac, it's energy settings, and you can do them very similar like Windows in that regard as to how long you want the screen to stay on without any activity or other components in the computer.
Right, yeah. Okay, that's what I figured. Okay.
Will.
Yeah, I've got a cell phone question. My new cell phone dims out when I don't want it to. Is there a setting somewhere in the cell phone that says stay bright all the time, regardless of the light conditions?
Mine does the same thing, and I've never figured out why.
I think mine is automatic with the light conditions. If it gets dark, then it dims out. But
is this an Android?
Yes, it's a Galaxy.
Okay, and so is mine. I would go to settings and wander through settings to places like visibility, and you will find settings that you can set for things like does it dim when the sun goes down? Does it change brightness at 6 p.m. every day? There's all sorts of settings like that.
I'll take a look.
I'd wander around in that.
Also, I was looking for a particular app that wasn't showing up on the screen. And I wandered around and I finally found a icon that was like, I don't know, 25 dots or something. And I clicked on that and then like a zillion apps came up. Before there were only like 3 or 4 showing. And I have no idea what happened, but I ran into this one icon with a whole bunch of dots. And apparently that says, bring up all your icons. And I clicked on that and I was amazed at how many icons were on this particular phone. I hadn't put them on there, somebody did. But anyway, I don't know how I stumbled across it, but I was really frustrated because I had downloaded a particular app and I could never find it. And only until I clicked on this 5x5 dot icon did all the apps come up, and there were, I don't know how many. There's got to be 20 or 30 apps that showed up on the screen. Anybody else run into that situation?
Yeah, well, I think you found the one that basically shows all the apps. The screens that you have, you should be able to go from that list and basically just drag it onto the various different screens. And that's the same way you can move an app from one screen to another. That's just the launcher for that. The list of all the apps is wherever you find it, that 5x5 thing. So those are all the apps that are on there. You can put an icon for that app on any one of your screens in any particular place. And so when you're just looking at your home screen or something, those are just the apps that you've decided or someone else has decided goes on your home screen.
And how do you move?
Most of the time when you install the app, it'll also put it on one of those screens off in the last screen. But you can also basically, you can remove an app and it disappears from the screen. It's still installed. To get off the phone, you have to uninstall the app.
How do you move apps to different screens?
Normally you basically press and hold it and then drag it.
Okay. As you can see, I'm a neophyte when it comes to cell phones.
And you can use those icons as folders too. You can take, there's one called Spectrum. You click on that and under that is My Files.
Yeah, how do you create folders, icon folders?
I think what depending on what version of Android you have, but with mine, if I take one of those apps and I drag it on top of another, it'll make a folder where they both contained.
Oh, okay.
Well, on the first question you had about the screen darkening, under settings, one of the items is display. I'm talking about Android, but I'm talking about a Pixel phone that I have other troubles with. But under display, there's a screen timeout. And I don't know whether that's what you're talking about, but my screen timeout now is set for 5 minutes. And I can set that to timeout to anything as little as 15 seconds to 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's not the dimming though. That is the actual shutdown
Okay, there
or
are
temporary shutdown or whatever they call it.
anyway. That's where it would be, but or I don't know.
No, I'm looking for the dimming. I'm looking for the dimming feature. Yeah.
So Will, the options might be to DuckDuckGo it or Google it if you'd rather. Or you can do what Ross always suggests, dial 611, talk to your provider, have them walk you through it.
Yeah.
Or any other way you think you can figure it out.
Yeah. I'm stubborn.
You don't want to use 611.
Yeah, he keeps showing up here and we'll keep giving him the regular answers. Isn't that right, Saul?
Yeah, I don't think stubborn is the right word.
Oh, Mary Burns is offering a class this summer on the Android for about 5 weeks. Of course, you practically need special instructions to sign up for it. But yeah, I think it's about a 5-week class, 2 hours every Wednesday or something like that.
Is it a Zoom session?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. It'll be.
And how do we reach Mary?
I can email you all this stuff, but she's at the San Diego Community College. Okay. We're the emeritus groups. Okay. But yeah, she'd love to have you. I can email you the thing.
Or put it into the chat.
Well, I'm in the display mode under settings. And in display, there are dark mode settings, there's brightness, there's outdoor mode, there's eye comfort shield, there's screen timeout. Mine's set at 1 minute.
Yeah, that was frustrating in 1 minute. I set mine, like somebody said, to 5 minutes because it was dropping out every 30 seconds and driving me nuts.
But you can have your display as white on black or black on white.
Oh.
Yeah, that's dark mode or light mode.
Yeah, light or dark mode. So I suggest you wander through that entire selection and you know that every time you get a new screen, you can swipe up from the bottom and that scrolls that whole window that you're looking at down maybe 2 or 3 times before you get to the bottom of the scroll. Okay.
So I'll offer a third option that Will won't choose to do either. But as Alan Bugg has mentioned, the librarian, the San Diego Futures Foundation does offer free classes in person at various library branches. And even if they're doing a different topic, afterward, you can get one-on-one help for whatever you want. So if you go over there with your phone and ask the person teaching them, they can help you.
Been there, done that.
Well, that's one thing about the class. It's kind of structured. So she'll go through and she's very good about helping the very, very beginners and then, you know, people who practically could teach the class. So she's pretty good.
Yeah, she is an excellent instructor. I've got to look up and try and get registered for that class.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the Apple. the map.
Yeah.
What's Mary's last name?
Burns,
Burns,
B-U-R-N-S.
Okay.
I just put it in the chat. That's one of
Oh,
her
okay, thank you.
many thingies here.
Right.
And I could forward you
Yep.
email she sent about registering and stuff and how to do it. And they've got all sorts of videos on how to do all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Oh,
If I may, I have an observation about the 6-1 feature. I was under the impression that I could call 611 for problems I was having with my Pixel 6 Pro. And they would act as if they're giving you help, but there is no official help at AT&T for a particular brand. If the person you're talking to happens to own one, they can perhaps help you. But at least with AT&T, they don't guarantee support for individual brand phones. And that's one reason why I'm going around in circles with Google support. So don't expect expert help on Samsung or iPhone or Pixel or anything else. If you get beyond the capability of the individual you're talking to, it's hopeless.
Well, I think I have a Samsung phone, and I think if I go to the Samsung site, I probably can get help. I haven't tried it, but
I know, but what I was talking about was 611, where you go to your provider and ask for help about your Samsung phone.
yeah. No, I've given up on 611.
I have a question. You all see right here next to my name, there's a little push pin. And if I click the mute button,
yeah, we don't hear you.
Yeah, when you push the mute button, it mutes you.
myself like that, but the push pin doesn't go away. What does the push pin mean?
We are not seeing the push pin, Hank.
You're not.
I see the push pin.
Where do you see it, Will?
To his right, about eye level.
Really?
I see something there.
Right before the H in Hank.
No, about your eye level to the right.
Eye level to the right.
I think that's the stop sign.
Yeah, that looks
Is
like
that a stop sign? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I see, but I don't see a push pin.
Yeah.
I think that means you're recording.
No, I don't think so. That's up here, the little, the red dot in the circle.
Hank, are you talking about your video tile and gallery view?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I don't see any push pin.
No, I don't either. I thought the stop sign was this push pin.
Nope. What I see is right to the left of Hank Drayton.
There's nothing to the left. It's the edge of your video tile.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
There is in mine. Hank Drayton has moved over a little bit, about as far as it would be if I were muted.
Maybe it's because you're the host.
How did you get there?
I would have noticed that before, I think.
Mine says host behind your name.
Well, wait a minute. This one says remove. On my options, I now see remove pin. Aha.
Okay, so pinning, pinning a video tile means you want to just look at that one for the most part.
Yeah, I now have an option of pin and also spotlight for everyone. What does that mean? Anybody know?
Spotlight means you want everybody to see the one tile that you've selected and have everybody else's go away.
Aha.
Oh, shoot. What happened there?
That's what
Hank spotlighted himself.
I beg your pardon. Whoever said that,
I did.
don't admit it.
Well, that's what it's called. When you force your screen to the speaker view, that's spotlighting your picture.
It's primarily used when you're doing presentations and you want the audience to be focused on the presenter.
Okay, I now have an option. If I click on pin, it says remove all spotlighted videos. Hank Drayton will remove all spotlighted videos for everyone. Do you want to continue?
Well, you're the only one spotlighted.
Yeah.
I know.
And Hank, I went back to gallery view and now your one showed up with the pin. The pin just went away. So that it's got something to do with pinning.
Yeah, I don't know what pinning means.
Pinning means that you're always on the screen. You won't be shuffled off. You won't be like on the second screen if there's not enough people to view.
It effectively switches everybody to speaker view, so they're not looking at the rest of the gallery.
Although, Saul, when I was in speaker view, I switched back to gallery. When I was in gallery and Hank was pinned, that's when I saw the pin next to his name.
Yeah, but again, pinning is different than spotlighting. Okay.
Tell us what those two are, please.
Spotlighting is generally done by a host when there's a presentation to let the audience focus on the presenters. It could be one person spotlighted or two or three, like a panel, so that they focus on those instead of the general gallery view where we're all equal. Pinning is more of an individual thing where just on your screen, you want to pin somebody just to focus on them, but it doesn't impact everybody else.
Aha, I can add a pin to Saul, which I just did. And now Saul has a pin to the left of his name.
But the rest of us looking at gallery view didn't notice a change at all.
No.
That's my point. It's just on the one display of the person applying the pin.
Okay, but only the host can do that, right? I mean, the rest of us can't.
I think anybody can pin any tile they want, but only the host can spotlight.
Well, okay, so if, say Hank spotlighted himself, but we could still go to like gallery view and see everybody else, right?
I can't spotlight. The only thing I can do is spotlight for everyone.
Yeah, I think Pat was asking if, I think when Hank spotlights somebody, it basically switches all of us to speaker view on the spotlight he did, but you can go back to gallery view if you want.
Right, okay. Oh, no, now I'm on, now this thing is saying I'm checked on gallery view, but I see Hank and Kensington Park or whatever. So that's what I'm seeing, but when I switch, of course, and then speaker, if I switch to speaker, it's still the same. So that didn't change, but I can go back to gallery and then we're all gallery, we're all here.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah, well, I'm just checking it out, you know. Not that I don't believe you, of course.
I have heard all of this, but I have not understood any of it. I cannot, I'm just not this morning capable, apparently, of understanding what spotlighting and pinning mean. From a
So don't do either of those. Yeah, don't do either of those.
I just went back to gallery view, but something switched me over to speaker view earlier.
When
And I
Hank
didn't do it.
spotlighted himself.
Okay. That throws everybody into speaker view.
Correct.
But only for him. If somebody else talked,
No, everybody went into speaker view.
yeah, right. Yeah, I'm looking at that now. I'm looking at Saul. Okay, but actually I'm in gallery view. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I guess I clicked in Saul, I clicked
You have me spotlighted right now.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Now I'll remove the spotlight for Saul. 1, 2, 3, click. And nothing happened.
Oh, yes, it did.
No,
Yes,
he lost. Yeah, he lost the little, the little thing that pops up when you're talking, except it's not talking. I'm talking and it's not putting me on.
Yes,
but
it is.
Dave's on. Dave is, no, now Will's on. It just doesn't like me, I guess.
No, Pat, you're on. We're seeing you in speaker.
No. Will is in speaker view. That's why he's seen what he's seen. But if he
Okay.
switches himself back to gallery view, he'd go back to gallery view.
Okay.
Anyway, we solved the mystery of the pin to the left of Hank's name in his video tile.
Oh, yeah, well, not really. I didn't get it.
He pinned himself.
I'm with him.
Yeah. Also, when Hank spotlighted someone, that person went up in gallery. It went to the top left corner, and then when they unpinned, they went back to their regular position. So it's like when you raise your hand, you get moved to the front of the queue. You lower your hand, you go back.
Yep, and you are now pinned.
Dan?
I have a situation now where I can move my mouse around and I get a pin for each of you, independently of the others. So I get a pin for Hank when I move my cursor to Hank's picture. I get a pin for Sal when I move my cursor to Sal's picture.
That's
and I don't know what's going on either, but just the observation.
I don't have that on my screen.
Yeah, the thing is, in gallery view, if you hover over a video tile, usually there should be like 3 little dots in the upper right corner, at least on mine, and it gives you a context menu of things you can select and options you can do. Generally, one of those is pin, because again, that's an individual choice for your own screen, doesn't impact anybody else. Only the host would have the choices to spotlight somebody, which again is entirely a different thing.
Yes, well, keep in mind, I am using a Chrome box. So I don't know if this is true on other machines, but as I move my mouse around on the gallery view, or speaker view, excuse me, I see a pin pop up every time I move my mouse to that picture. And it's in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah, I would presume that has more to do with the version of the Zoom app, more so than the fact that you're on a Chromebox.
This is a very early version of the Zoom app.
Oh.
Yeah, the user interface has changed over time.
Okay, that's all I had to say.
Well, I just checked it out. I have to check everything out. And actually, if you click on somebody else, not yourself or not the hosts and the speakers, you could click on anybody else. Now, this one says replace pin. Okay, wait a minute. Well, that's weird. Let me try that.
If you've pinned somebody and you want to pin somebody else, it will replace the one you first pinned with the second person.
Yeah, I forgot who I first pinned. Oh, wait a minute. Well, actually, I pinned Stan, and now it says remove pin. So, but what would happen is then that no matter who was speaking, Stan was in, speaker view, no matter who was speaking.
On your display only.
On my display only. I mean, yeah, I'm just checking out my display, but that's what it means, I guess. But then if I have one pin, then I can't do anybody else's pins.
I can.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, replace pin. It still worked.
But I can add pin. I have 2 people pinned right now, Ray Schlater and Mio Mock. And I could now pin Miriam by coming over here to Miriam's more. And I can add pin. And now I have 3 people pinned.
Oh, really? So do you see 3 people on your screen?
Yep, I see 3 people right now on my screen, Ray, Mio, and Miriam.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool.
I think
And
the
I-
host has extra privileges
Yeah.
that the rest of us peons
Learned
don't.
that before. And if I now go to gallery, which I can do, I have to, once I pin 3 people, I end up with just those 3 people on my screen. But let's see. Yeah, if I go to speaker view, the upper right-hand corner, I see the 3 people that I have pinned. If I, in the upper right-hand corner, go to gallery view, I see everybody again, but the people I have pinned are the first 3 on my group of 12 participants. Fascinating. After Stanley, who has his hand up. Somebody's hand, if someone has their raised hand up, they go to the head of the class before the 3 pinned people.
Okay, my question.
Learn something new every week. Yes, Stanley, go ahead.
I'm trying to. I have a hide self view, and I'm wondering if I click on hide self view, it hides my self view on my screen, but did I hide it on other people's screens?
No.
That's good to know. That's what I was trying to establish there. Thank you.
And by the way, Stanley, does everyone else have a bit of difficulty with Stanley's
Yeah.
Audio?
audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stanley, you've got your audio.
All right, I'll work on that.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, I think we're about done for the week.
Oh, wow.
I will go post that whole thing for those of you who wish to wade through 2 hours, 40 minutes of Snapseed again. It'll be on the website. And sooner or later, we'll get the recording of this week up on the website. And other than that, let me see what we're doing next week. Let me go for just a minute. I will.
Level test, this is the test.
I will look at the calendar. And the calendar for next week is delayed hang-up. The delayed hang-up scam. It's a subject for next week.
Before we leave, I got on here late, but did Fran report on what's happening in the north?
No, like as in what? In storms or?
What's going on? What's going on politically up there?
Nothing exciting. Why? Did you
Okay.
hear
Well,
Don't we have enough going on in our own country, Will?
Well, I'm always curious.
Oh, yeah, no, it's nice and peaceful here, always.
Good.
But thanks for asking.
All right, everybody. See you next week. Thanks for being here. Anyone want to continue this? If you do, I'll make you the host and you can stay.
Yeah, make me the host. I'm still playing with this.
Okay. Wait a minute. I'm going to leave and make Stanley. Yeah, I'll make leave meeting. I'll click Stanley as the host. And bye-bye.